Welcome to Dimples and Dimes, the Golf Business Talk. My guest today is Rodrigo Ulrich, Director of Golf with Terras da Comporta and its famous Dunas Golf Course. Rodrigo, the Dunas Golf Course is the hardest golf project not only in Europe and has won many accolades since its opening. In which phase of the project did you get involved?
Thank you for inviting me to be here. It's a great pleasure. It's always a pleasure to speak to you, Michael. I was involved to finish the golf course, so to supervise the completion of the course. So when I arrived, we didn't have any definition. We didn't have no fairways, no rough, no bunkers. So, and being a huge McClay fan, to have the possibility to work with him or working with him was just amazing.
Wonderful. Now, what would you say, to which extent did the role of the director of golf change over those 2 years since you're involved?
Well, the role is more of GM than director of golf, in the sense that we are now an independent company within the Vanguard universe. So we now have our own finance department, communication departments, marketing. It's because the golf business on its own grew faster than the expectations. So we've been having a great reply from the market itself. So it's been great, but it's also being more demanding. So we needed to reinforce the team.
You were just mentioning the Vanguard crew. Terras da Comporta is the first golf project that Vanguard Properties has realized. They have excellent expertise regarding real estate and development. You have a wonderful background in the golf business. Would you say that this combination was of advantage, or would you say it's a bit more challenging if you have to deal with a real estate specialist on the one hand side, and you are talking and trying to transform the requirements for the golf industry and the golf?
I think what Vanguard has, it has immense talent. So my colleagues are very good at their jobs. We are very lucky that we have which is rare. We have a very close relationship with the owners, and I speak to my CEO every day. So I would say that it's actually been very helpful, because it's I think golf, particularly golf in Portugal, needed a fresh pair of eyes. But based on what Vanguard Properties stands for, which is excellence. So sometimes it's better that there isn't a lot of experience in a certain market, in this case, golf. But on the other hand, there's a lot of experience in achieving excellence on the buildings that we produce. So yeah, I think it was hugely beneficial to because of the mentality. The mindset is always excellence. It's never good is not good enough.
Well, that's great to hear. Last time we met at Madeira, I will never forget, finding sand at an adequate price level was one of your main challenges. Looking at the pictures, you now seem to have a lot of sand, and so therefore that shouldn't be a greatest obstacle. What would you say was the biggest challenge during the pre-opening phase, and how could you overcome it?
Well, the biggest challenge was when David was re-engaged in 19. This is even before my time. COVID struck in 2020, and then it was very challenging to get David to come across in the middle of COVID, which Vanguard was able to pull that off. But I think that was the biggest, was getting David across. From my difficulty here, which was to be completely aligned with what David wanted to achieve. So that meant a lot of communication and a lot of traveling as well. So the number one priority was to have a good team involved. and that's because this area doesn't have a lot of golf courses. That was challenging, but no, we do have a great team.
I can imagine. You were just mentioning that's a bit different setting up a course than managing a running course. If you have a look at the educational offer of the golf industry, there's a lot of training regarding golf management and golf operations, but it's rare to find offers that really provide the necessary skills for such pre-opening phase or just building phase of a project. Where did you get those skills?
I've been very lucky because I have a very good network of golf colleagues with various experiences. I studied management, so that helped me the background with the financial part of CapEx and the project how to program because nobody has unlimited funds. And then I reached out because that's the beauty of the golf industry. You shouldn't be afraid to reach out to your colleagues and say. So I was very lucky. I spoke with Ed Edwards, who at the time was the COO of Golf Saudi, and I spoke with Francisco Lancaster, who was running the Cortesin, and ended up having all the information I needed.
Wonderful. Now, what would you say were the main keys for success in your new position? And what would be you were mentioning your team. What's the overall management approach regarding leadership and communication you apply in your position?
Well, I think you just said it. You are 100% correct, meaning you have to be a leader, not a boss. So you, in the previous training, like in Madeira, allowed me to, I can do my job, but I can also cut the fairways or mow the greens. I can go on any area of the golf course. And what that taught me was that a good communication, setting communication as your priority, clear communication channels, motivation, listening to your team. I would say this 1,000 times. Listen. You never know when a good idea is going to come. And I would say, and I was privileged enough to be allowed to build my own team, invite who I wanted to invite. And that doesn't happen often.
How many of your team members did have a background in the golf industry? And how many came from other industries, including the hospitality business?
I would say 4 had experience in golf and hospitality. And the rest, I didn't want anyone with experience in golf because I wanted to a different mindset. The attention to detail, the attention to the client. I didn't want anybody that had a golf experience.
I well understand that. What would you say is the overall customer experience you want to provide to your guests?
Thank you for asking that, because this is a very important point to me. We know that we have a very good golf course designed by David McLeod, because he personally, I think he's a genius. So and
absolutely,
but it's a bad word what I'm going to say, being obsessed, but I'm obsessed with service, because we have to acknowledge every guest that comes here, and we are completely guest-centric. And so if I could have a wish, it would be that our service is even better than the golf course.
Would you say, are there any particular services that you provide? Would you say, okay, that's something that separates us and sets us apart from other venues?
Well, we are an American golf course in Europe, so you have the backdrop. You don't have the plastic bottles. We give you, show you. Everyone gets a bottle like this, so you are welcome to take home. The whole guest experience, it's thought through, but it's not a one-off. Every Friday we have a team meeting, one with well onto the competitor. But I give you an example. So the second you get into the gates, like the security guard advisors us. So when you arrive, the backdrop gentleman knows that you are there, knows who you are. The buggy has your name.
Yeah.
When you leave the backdrop, reception knows that you're coming. So all of this, where I think that we provide a good difference from other courses is all this cycle. You finish your game, we wash your parts, and then you put the parts in your car. So this experience has been very well received by those who visit us.
Yeah, I can imagine that. I fully agree to say that sounds like a mannequin venue on European premises. It's one of those service ranges that many are definitely looking for and would surprise them when they're going to the US market for the very first time. Do you also have members at your venue, or is it purely guest play only?
So we will have members. We are now studying at the different membership levels because there has to be a combination between the members and the hotels that will have on site, and both coexist. So it's a process that's evolving. We already have the golf club, but I would say in the next 3 to 4 months it will be sorted.
Wonderful. Now, has to say you are this out of Europe, more or less, venue. What would you say is the difference between managing a golf club for international guests from managing, even if it's a high yield, members club for a local market?
Oh, yeah, it's night and day. The level of expectancy that those international members that come here to play is, and because they've traveled the world, they know very well what they want. So there's no, you can't cut any corners. I'll give you an example. Noise on the golf course. We start at 6, so that when the first tee time is at 8:30, there's no noise, because that's what the level of client that plays Dunas is expecting.
Yeah,
and it's a continuous cycle, improving cycle. You have to have. I make an effort every day to. There's always room to improve. So you need to go and see other golf courses. You need to speak to your colleagues. You need to listen to your team. It's a process. It's not a destination.
but one important part of creating a successful customer experience is software. Which club management system do you use?
I use Golf Manager because it allows me to access it whatever I am.
And do you also supervise the pace of play with certain technology?
Well, at the moment, no, because we are trying to keep as much as possible 15-minute tee times, and
Oh, that's lovely. Yeah.
we never break the 10-minute tee time barrier, and we like to so it hasn't been an issue. I am looking at some alternatives. I actually received an email last week regarding a software and pace of play. We'll see.
Now, just coming back on the question of your personal experience, to which extent would you say that your background and your network in the golf industry help you to promote the venue that fast? Because it was almost lightning regarding the speed, how fast this venue got its reputation, and I think that really helped from the early from the beginning.
Well, I think the quality of the course is what made the biggest difference, because this is quite a unique golf course, and I think that was the biggest difference. The past experience allowed me to choose the best partners to work with. So the PR company is area that we work with. We currently also work with All this just helped us to, because we needed to make a lot of noise because it's a semi-crowded market, but not at the high end. So it allowed us to well, it's reaching out, using your network, and I think the key is keep your head down and work as hard as you can.
Mm-hmm. You were just mentioning it's a high-end market. On the other hand side, we see, and unfortunately, especially right here in the German market, we see lots of venues that are trying to promote themselves by the price point with some discounts they are applying, stuff like that. That's definitely not the strategy you are applying. So what would you say is the strategy going via the experience and also, of course, via the service level you're generally providing, the more successful, and why is it possible, as you absolutely proved, to establish such policy nevertheless in a very short time? You couldn't rely on some Harry tag, as you just said. It's the very first project by the Vanguard Group, so it was really a bottom-up project, and nevertheless, one of the fastest growth I've seen over the last couple of years.
I think the key is consistency. Is you have to have the same approach if you have 5 guys playing the course or 100. It's always the same. We had a gentleman from America now that was surprised that I had 42 players today, and I had the buggy bar running. I said, well, we keep the same procedures, even if I have one gentleman playing or lady. It's a mindset. I think the I'll give you a good example with leading courses that just came out. So we were number 1 in Portugal, which made us all very proud. And but we were also number 1 in value for money. And so, but you do need to invest in service. You need to invest in your team. You need to invest, because all of that means that you are investing in your client, and you need your client. Mm-hmm. I always say this. I say this often. For me, it's indifferent that somebody comes here once. It becomes interesting when they come back, and then you are doing a good job. And we focus on making this such a good experience that you want to come back.
Mm-hmm. Now, will the course be open to hotel guests in the future only, or will it be available to everyone from outside who will be lucky enough to approach each time?
Well, the Vanguard's approach is we are an open golf course. We invite everyone to play. We are doing protocols with the local schools to get the anyone that wants to try golf to come here. We have an open door. Yeah. We believe that you can have exclusivity and be an integration at the same time. One does not exclude the other.
Mm-hmm. Lovely. Now we'll have a little look behind the scenes. What have been the most challenging events over the first 2 years you had to overcome, and how did you succeed in overcoming them?
Well, I will say the water consumption was a challenge because we are very sustainability focused. So to the extent that we actually hired an agronomist just to deal with the water, because the irrigation system needed to gain efficiency, and now it has. Mm-hmm. And the other one was possibly the inauguration event, because we had everyone here, and including the shareholder, and that also brings added pressure, I would say.
Are there any plans for further venues by the Vanguard Group, except your venue?
Well,
which are focused on golf, of course. Yeah,
we're building the second course is already being built on our site next to us, which is the first course ever designed by Sergio Garcia. And I was actually there yesterday, and people will be surprised because it's an amazing golf course, amazing golf course. But it's a players' golf course. It's different because Rodrigo is the architect. Sergio is still playing, so it's a completely different look and feel. But people will be surprised.
But will it be playable for the average Joe as well, or will it just be a championship course, the par course?
I don't believe in championship golf courses, to be honest with you. Even this one, that Dunas, off the tips, the back tees, we couldn't play. It's impossible. Even a scratch player couldn't play. It's for two pros. But we have 60 boxes per hole. So I believe that the first and foremost importance of a golf course that you can't ever forget is it's supposed to be fun. You're not supposed to be punished. We don't use the colors to give it to that extent. We don't use colors. We use the distance of the golf course. Because with the wind, sometimes you have to play the 62, sometimes you have to play the 57. So you're supposed to have fun. I don't believe in golf courses that are impossible, because I want you to score birdies, not bogeys. So it's some courses are too difficult, and that's not us.
So are there any plans to put either of the two courses on the schedule of any of the tours? Maybe ladies, maybe gents?
That's a good question. Yes and no. At the moment, we are consolidating the golf course. We are looking at some pro-am possibilities. We're trying to decide what to do. I think we need to have the hotel set and the clubhouse finished, and then we can look at hosting an event. What I can tell you is we always want the golf course ready as if we were going to have an event.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And are there any plans for a further expansion at the current venue? For instance, with shorter courses, par 3 courses, 9-hole loops, whatever?
No. For golf, no. We do have 27 other sports over here. So from pickleball to tennis to paddle to an amazing state-of-the-art gym. There's always lots of things to do here.
Wonderful. Now, would you say what's more important? Because that's one of the questions that I can see are currently discussed internationally. You were mentioning the additional offer. Would you say the ambition of a venue should more be, especially if you are relying on guest players, to keep the golfer at the venue if possible? Or would you say it's easier to focus on a strategy where people just come to play the golf course or the golf courses in the future? What they are doing in the rest of the time, whether they go to the beach or visit something downtown Lisboa, that's always up to them.
I think both are true. To be honest with you, we have guests that and we had several from the States. That we actually provided a guide to be with them because they wanted to play golf, but they also wanted to learn a little about the culture, the history. So I think the key is to be very focused on what your client wants. So some guys just want to come here, play golf, and go home, which is fair.
Yeah.
Some wants to come here, but they want you to organize lunch at the beach restaurants, transfers from the hotel or transfers from the airport. As I said, as we are guest centric, it's whatever the client needs. We also have a babysitting as we are ready to take care of kids if the parents want to play golf. We have a babysitting company that works with us so that we can provide that as well. So, and that came because of a need of one client, and it's whatever the client needs.
Wonderful. You were mentioning the international clientele. How important would you say is it on the one hand side to meet their expectations, but on the other hand side to keep some kind of a local or regional atmosphere and cultural approach as well?
I think both coexist perfectly because the one thing that the international client wants is the levels of service. If you get those right, they also like authentic people. They don't want everything made, unreal. So yeah, I think it's possible to for the two to work together. Yeah.
talking about people and staff, how easy or not easy is it to get adequate staff in your market?
Yeah, difficult, very difficult, very, 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 very difficult.
Do you have own training programs, or do you have service centers that you teach?
Yes. The initial team started 4 months before we opened. Because we wanted to have a certain level of service that's and you need to get the team needs time to consolidate all the processes. We have a very fun, strict, but it's a fun day to as you get in and integrate it. We have SOPs for everything, and everybody that works here knows that you are allowed to make mistakes, so long as you don't make them on purpose, obviously. But a team helps one another, doesn't judge one another. That's a key difference.
And would you say that the golf industry is getting more attractivity for the Portuguese labor market, or are people still more into other industries or more into the travel industry, hotel sector, stuff like that?
Well, I think golf in Portugal is changing, and it will change quite a bit in the next few years with the Arrow being here, Vanguard, and then these new, well, Arrow's not new, but these companies that focus on an excellent client service. And I think the fact that we are all building excellent or facilities based in excellence will start making golf more attractive, because the golf industry more attractive, because you see the students finishing, the ones that study the hotel business, they want to go up to a 5-star hotel. So it is true that you start having 5-star golf courses.
Yeah. You were mentioning that the market's changing a bit in Portugal and the offer as well. A couple of years ago or decades ago, the Algarve was the Portuguese golf destination. Now the Golf Coast Lisboa is gaining more and more potential, is more and more bringing out new venues over the last couple of years. What's the reason for this regional change regarding the offer?
I think the golf is growing in Portugal. I think a golf course on any resort, if it's correctly positioned, will add to the resort. I think now with the number of Americans and Canadians that are coming to Portugal, golf will become more and more important as we move on. And I think there's room for everyone. I think we work with golf courses in Lisbon and with golf courses in Algarve. The only thing that that makes us let me say it this way, that we are careful to choose who we work with, because we only work with golf courses and hotels that are client centric like we are. You can't recommend a golf course that provides a bad experience. And there's quite a few very good golf courses in Portugal, thank God.
Wonderful. One final question. You've had two, I can imagine, quite stressful years behind you. Where do you see yourself in 3 years? What's up after gaining such an excellent position within such a short time? What are your plans and ambitions for the coming years?
I want to, if I had a wish, was to have both golf courses to be as successful as Dunas is being. If we can achieve that and a consolidated team, I would be over the moon.
Perfect. Rodrigo, thanks very much. It's been great talking to you again. Thanks for being our guest today, and all the best for the future.
Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure, and I look forward to seeing you here soon.
Will do, I'll promise.
Thank you.